What if? What if I told you SWTOR has gone mobile? No, not on phones because we don't have phones, but on the Steam Deck. And we brought on a guest that's doing it on the Steam Deck to talk about that and more on this episode of the Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. The SWTOR Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic for SWTOR from newoverlords.com. Our broadcast hashtag today is EPC 439. And with me is my co-host, Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
Hey, Max. Going pretty well. I'm looking forward to this episode. I do not have a Steam Deck, but, maybe you guys will talk me into changing that state of affairs. I mean, I'll just say real quickly that I did finish leveling my gunslinger in SWTOR this week, and I'm almost done with my warrior. And also, I'm almost done with my Shadow Syndicate rep. I'm like within it. Yeah, I'm like within 1,000 rep of being done with it. And so I'm kind of doing that danger thing where I'm still just doing like a little bit of rep every day for Conquest.
Danger is your middle name.
Yeah. So like come this Monday night, I might just like do the whole thing just to get it out of my head instead of waiting until it's like too late.
Yeah.
Because, yeah. Yeah, and we killed Nightmare Nefer tonight and veteran mode, the first boss in EV. So we spent about 45 minutes, almost exactly, with IP Daily.
Yeah.
So we had
and we
kind of
figured
an
that
eventful.
out. I mean, I think we'll get it next week. We finally figured it out.
Yeah.
Which is
We
not good
probably
with-
would have gotten it tonight, but we had some scheduling things we had to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm gonna stop talking now because I want to get to hear from our guest, who is the famous Corley, who's our raid leader.
Yes,
But
he is
he
the
has
boss
Steam-
of us.
Yeah, so he's been talking about his Steam Deck, and so we thought, this is something that everyone might be interested in. So, Corley, how are you doing? How has your week been?
I'm doing all right, and the week's been going all right. Just got back from traveling for family stuff and did some stuff while I was on travel on my Steam Deck, so that's kind of why I think you asked me to be here.
Yep.
And, yeah, we're just the whole R4 raid is just being a pain in the butt. So hopefully we'll get it next week.
Yeah.
A lot of fire.
Yeah. And, I think it was silly of us to keep pushing and pushing with only 4 DPS, especially when we were under geared to start, and now we're geared. But we still,
Yeah.
it's hard. We've got people on really slow network connections, and it's an unforgiving fight, which is a bummer.
Very, very much so. Yeah, you definitely have to be able to move quick and respond to things changing.
But so as soon as we added, we went to 1 tank and 5 DPS, and it didn't even do anything crazy like 6 DPS, which we probably could, although the healing would get really crazy. But seemed to handle it.
That would require nobody being in the fire.
Right. Well, again, with any bit of lag is problematic.
Yeah.
On story mode, I feel like they could loosen it up a little bit.
Yeah. I feel like the fire part is getting easier and easier. It's like it's slowing down so I can see it.
And
I mean, it's not slowing down, but it's like once you go through a raid pattern enough times, it loses that chaos factor and it starts to just become predictable.
You're figuring out when it's how long it takes before it
and
comes up,
and you can recover better when you do make a mistake.
Right.
Anyway.
So what else have you been doing, Corley, besides getting us all hurting the cats that is our ops team?
Well, while I was on travel, on my messing around with my Steam Deck, I was farming the Shadow Syndicate plans for that rep, trying to finish it off, and I finished it off I think Monday, because I was wondering, I'm like, when's 7.1.1 coming out?
Right.
I gotta finish this. So so I was doing just basically doing heroics on the different planets that you can get the plans on, and
I think that's the best way. Not farming.
Yeah, just do the heroics. That way you get something else. You're doing something else, and you just get them as you're going. So.
Oh, you did
Yeah.
it with doing the heroics.
Yeah, and you're there. I mean, you're killing guys. I mean, towards the end when I only needed like one or two, I was just all right. I'm done doing heroics. I'm just gonna kill guys until I get the one or two plandas that I need to turn in to get the 20
So
the,
I
the 20 reward.
popped the thing from the Jawa and just loop over and over and over again, grinding packs of mobs on Nar Shaddaa.
Yeah,
And that's how I
yeah. I mean,
got 19 or 20 in an hour.
yeah. I mean, you could do that, but yeah,
Yeah.
that gets
Oh, yeah.
boring, and
It
you're
was
not getting
boring.
anything other than junk for it.
It was really boring. And I was like,
So
oh, has an hour gone by? And then I checked the cooldown on the thing, and it's like a half
so
hour. Like,
one of
Yeah.
them. So the one I did on Nar Shaddaa was the one where you go do the organ.
mhm.
This is on Sith side, obviously, but you do the organ shipments.
Yep.
It's that one, and those guys were dropping them pretty good. And then then I went on Corellia, not Black Hole, but actually just the
The regular
Corellia.
Corellia. Yeah.
Yeah, and
And we're using the
did all
boost.
that. I did use the boost. I did have that running.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if it helped much, but I had it running.
And for anybody that's
I
finishing up, remember that boost, you spend 500 of the purple Jawa junk at the Jawa vendor in the cartel bazaar. He's sort of tucked behind some crepes. He's got a little corner set up where he's got a little nefarious business going on. Sorry,
my
Sydney.
my thing is I have more than enough tokens. I just
yeah,
have to hand them in. It's just mine is all about a hand-in strategy.
Oh,
right.
so you have all that? Oh,
To
yeah.
Yeah.
maximize conquest points, right?
I
Yeah.
didn't. I didn't.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I gotta get these because I don't
Yeah.
have enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had to do like, I think I've only done 2 hours of grinding so far, and I've got 1,500 rep to go.
Yeah. Well,
So I'll be
that's
able to.
only.
Well, you're almost there too.
Yeah, I mean that's only that's one of the big ones and then one of the medium ones. So
Yeah. And
So
I've
you only
got one character
30 more.
that has the rep boost running with a couple
Yeah,
charges left on it.
I had that running too. I had one of the rep boosts.
I only got
So I
one
had-
syndicate plan tonight. No. Yeah. No, I got 0. I got 0 syndicate
Yeah, I didn't
plans
see
today.
any drop. I didn't see any drop.
Yeah.
Uh,
Ops is not a great way to do it.
Well, it can be. You just gotta actually finish.
Yeah, yeah, you have to actually,
Do
kill
it
bosses
off.
and go all the way. Do that.
Well,
Not just do the first boss over and over.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
I have been doing, as I said, I did a little bit of grinding of the rep. Did some of that. I did well, we had fun at MFN. Although I guess I didn't get any syndicate plans out of that either. What the heck? I spent time in the casino over the weekend to burn. Okay, and I got to look up my notes.
Gotta pull up the notes.
What was it? It was
A lot.
so
that's
just
what it
on the
was.
weekend. It was 33 Emperor's tokens is what I dumped in the slot machine.
I'll come and stand next to you with my glasses on while you say this.
Criminy. 33. I held off because I figured I would finally get some cool stuff and I wouldn't be able to complain anymore. But nope. My prize is I still get to complain. Because 33 Emperor's tokens just this weekend. 33 Emperor's tokens and 1,800 blue Kingpin tokens. And I spent 6 million in green to buy max bet green smuggler tokens. I did it all on the max bet machines.
I was gonna say, how did you put 6 million tokens into a machine?
Because I did it. I did it all
know.
in max bet.
Yeah.
Because I was not
Okay.
gonna. And the 6 million wasn't much to burn. And that was just so I could get the feeling lucky bonus to do the blue ones. Feeling lucky doesn't work on the Emperor one anyway. But I did all of that, and I got 2 BWLs, one of the Magnus, and one of the Predator mount, which I already had. And I already had like tons of the other ones. And then golden certificates or whatever, and nothing else. Nothing. Let alone Rhodian. I didn't get any of the new weapons. I didn't get Seema's. Those shades are pretty cool. Damn. Damn, Daniel.
I was shocked when I went in one day on the Emperor. In the first 3 times I pulled on the Emperor, I got the rifle, the sniper rifle. I mean, the glasses,
First 3 times. I did
and
32 times, and
the
I got
lucky
jack
Pratar.
squat.
Mm-hmm.
I told you, everyone else has RNG, and I have a fixed loot table. And the fixed loot table is one entrance that says, "Good day, sir." That's what I get.
We were telling Max during ops that there is no RNG for Max. It's just NG. It's just ZNG, zero number generator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ZNG. All right, so that's what I've been doing. I've also been playing some other stuff on the side, and man, there's some fun games out there. So it's I wish we could get some of this built, like the building stuff in SWTOR. That's my on my wish list. I'm super into like the survival building games lately. I need building decorating the stronghold is like a small step there, but I need that like building engine. I've been playing. I've been like making the rounds, just trying them all out. So if anybody's got a good one that you think I should play, put it in our Discord and let me know. And maybe I'm already playing it. So that's what I've been doing. Let's hear what else is going on in the news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
We do have a note continuing on the planned balance changes. So we talked about this last week. So 7.1.1, there will be planned update balance changes. That post up there by Chris Durrell, where he's posted again and again. It was mostly last week. The thread continues. People are continuing to discuss it. And there are some people that I think are very passionate but wrong. in some of how they're coming after it. Like they're like one person's making the point of, which I think was kind of the idea back at launch, but is no longer the idea, that hey, Marauder is a pure DPS class, so it should be doing more DPS because it's a pure class, and so is the sniper. It's a pure DPS. They should, that's all they got. No, that's not how it works. They have other utility.
That is a dated,
very
way of
dated,
looking at
but it kind of was an idea. I don't know if they ever actually balanced around it, even though, but it was kind of an idea back at launch. That is not how it works. There are tiers, and in a pure parse, then there are actually 5 tiers. There is melee, melee burst, melee sustain. Yeah, melee sustain is at the top, and that should be at 5% above median. And then 2.5% above is melee burst. And then a couple of the classes I think that are just sort of in between are like in the middle. And then there's ranged burst, ranged sustain, which is minus 2.5% from median, is how they try to balance it. And ranged burst is minus 5%. So they're trying to balance it to that. So there should be on a pure parse, on a dummy, that's how things should sort of.
Is that all in
out.
the post for the patch?
No, that's in their old post from like a year ago or 2 years ago now, year and a half. But that's how they shake them out, because when you're in a fight, when you're actually in a fight, those then even they squeeze closer together on most of the boss fights. Not all of the boss fights, but on most of the boss fights, because Melee's got to like run all around. They got to run out. They got to run away from the boss, and they're they've got some gap closers, but they go on cooldown. So they get that 2.5% above median and a 5% above median if they're like a dot class and it's sustain. Makes sense. And when you've got a Sork, a lightning Sork who can stand at 35 meters out and just rain down bursty stuff on like all of the mobs around the, like all of the ads, and just switch targets and burst all over the place. Yeah, they should be at minus 5%, because they're still going to then out DPS everybody if they're at exactly minus 5%. Because they barely have to move, and so that's why that target stack is sort of that way. Anyway, but the thread continues, and it's worth it for people to discuss it. And what you should be discussing is, you should come at it from the perspective of, I understand that this class is overperforming slightly. I see the change that you're making to sort of balance that a little bit. Here's how that would impact my gameplay in positively or negatively, and maybe there's a different way to do it. If you do it on this ability versus this ability, that really hurts us for this kind of style of player fight. Try not to solve the problem for them because they've got a million other things to figure out. But do talk about the feedback for the choices that they're making, and they can maybe try to work around it. So that's what I had to say about that. Seema, what else we got going on?
So also we have a basically an update to the launcher coming. So if you regularly use Steam, this won't affect you. But if you don't use Steam and you use the launcher, then there's going to be an update for it. However, it may not affect you right away because they're going to start with a smaller group of people and test to make sure that the changes that they're making actually do what they wanted to do, they didn't break anything, etc. The goal of it is to make the launcher a bit more like how things work on Steam.
Yes.
I think the reason that they put this post out with so many words
Many
is
words.
that when you do see it eventually, it's going to look like the game is re-downloading again. So they just want everyone
Yes.
to know it's not the game re-downloading. Your game is not going to be re-downloaded. It's just some changes going on with the launcher.
Yes.
And the goal of it is just to make the launcher work better.
Yeah. So I get that. It will, once you start seeing it go through that, and it'll look like it's downloading the whole game, but it'll go really fast because it's just doing the checks. It's going to do a
Yeah. So do not
validation
panic.
verification check. But yeah, people would panic, and then they would
I
get a
would.
lot of support calls, or people would like stop it and like post it
Oh,
on the
that would be
forums
yeah.
Yeah,
and
then
they
they're
And that's going to
definitely
happen
downloading.
anyway, but yeah.
But it did seem like a lot of words to say that the launcher was changing to be a slightly faster download for you. Also in the news, we've got in-game events. We still have in-game events, and one of those in-game events is not nightlife.
I
Nightlife
know.
is over with a big
But
bag of nothing for me.
the complaining is not.
The complaining continues. I pulled the handle and I got the jackpot of something to complain about, whine about. My whiny.
That's what you said your prize was.
Yeah, that's my prize.
Yep.
My whiny complaininess for the next year. So, yay me! Pirates are also coming back on the 20th. On the 20th. So a week from Tuesday, we'll get the pirate incursion back. Hey, if you want to finish that pirate incursion, if you have stuff you want to do there are a couple things that are better to do for the pirate event when the pirate event is not going on. So you should do them this week, like collecting the food items that spawn them randomly around the ground, or collecting the data pads that are in the buildings. Go do those things this week. Much easier to do it when the event's not going on. Then when the event comes back, you can do it if you need to do any of the remaining things like finishing the dailies or killing pirates or whatever you need to do. All right. In guild and community news, Seema, what do we got? What did we have going on there?
Oh, we won a Total Galactic War last week.
We did. Was that?
I was wondering if you guys talked about that.
Did we talk about it on the podcast last week?
I don't remember. I don't think so because it was still going on.
Well, let's talk about it
week?
anyway. Whether we did or not. Then I took my little title off already. I was like, this is old news.
Oh no, like
You
because
got it
no,
up.
last week because last week MFM was when and Corley was with us, so yeah,
Yeah.
we did talk about it last week.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
But
when we
anyway,
got
we'll
around.
talk. You guys, we won a Total Galactic War.
We
The black
totally
hole is
killed it.
totally ours now. We're conquerors.
And it was Corley that arranged it and organized us
Yep.
and picked the planet and did the invasion and lined us all up and did things on Tuesday. So
Yeah.
3 cheers for Corley, everyone.
It was a lucky guess.
Well,
It worked.
yes and no. I mean, we did the work to watch where royalty and then that other guild royalty and then that guild royalty were invading.
Well,
stayed away
like,
from those planets.
we were originally going to invade one of the planets that they were on,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm glad we didn't because they
Right.
put like 40,000 points on every single planet.
Yeah.
So
40 million.
40 million.
yeah, 40 million. Sorry, thank you.
1,000
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
points.
I mean, we
and-
already know to stay away from Syndicate and all
Right.
those guys, but
Right. We've got a list of who to not bang our heads up against for good reason. They're guilds because that's what they do, and they do a good job
Yep,
of it,
and
and they
yep.
organize it well. And Syndicate really does a good job. They have Syndicate and Dark Syndicate or whatever. They've got a couple, and they've got a couple feeder guilds, but they do try to play nice. Royalty does not. I don't. Royalty is relatively
Love you.
new, and they're just making 8 guilds and trying to win everything, and that's not as fun.
Well, I mean,
Although I
when
have noticed
they
in
do it,
previous weeks they've been like uh,
All on one.
several, all on one planet.
Yeah. So they're on a non-total galactic war week. They have been.
And I
playing
wonder
this.
if
You're
they're
right.
doing
You're
like an internal contest, or if it's like how they,
Yeah.
like fine tune their efforts and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's hard to get 7 or 6 or 8 conquest guilds in full steam ahead like that without kind of, pushing the limit there on a little bit on how you invite people and who you invite and what you do. But and I don't know the inside view. There's some notes in the chat room. So I'm not gonna
yeah,
disparage them in that way and until I know for sure. But good job to putting up the points that they did.
yeah. They
Shout out.
won. They won like 5 planets, so
Yeah.
they're doing something right.
Yep. Shout out to the chat room. Thank you all for joining us in there. That's fun to see people live here on twitch.tv/New Overlords on Thursday nights. If you're hearing this recorded, or on YouTube, the YouTubes. And you can also catch us up. I wanted to just take a side out here. Discord. newoverlords.com/Discord. Really easy to get to. Just type newoverlords.com/Discord. Join our Discord. I don't put a ton of stuff in there just yet, but I do put stuff in there for this podcast and for our other podcast, Behind the Games, which has had fun things going on, and a couple of the side videos that I did, like the show floor video for PAX, which was really fun. So yeah, jump in there. We would love to get more of you in there because we're starting to ask some interesting questions and draw on that as a resource, and get some of the creators, the game creators are joining. And we just had Samara Atkinson, who's about to release a game on Steam as an indie solo dev, just joined the Discord today as well. So newoverlords.com/Discord. Join that. Subscribe here on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube, and subscribe in all the other places. That would really help us out. With that, what did I have to kick us off into our segment? Oh, it died. Why is that button not working? It was unlimited power.
I blame Corley.
Sure.
Bet you didn't see this coming!
I did not see that coming. I did not see that my button would not work. Well, we have Corley on board, and I've been getting more and more fascinated by the idea of a Steam Deck just for gaming in general. And we have Corley on board, who is now an expert in SWTOR on the Steam Deck, which is kind of cool because I've even been seeing this on Reddit posts coming up. Hey, is it possible to play SWTOR on the Steam Deck? And it absolutely is. So why don't you kick us off, Corley, by talking about well, first, let's kick it off with, do you like the Steam Deck at all? Just in general.
Yeah, so I as soon as they announced the Steam Deck, last year, I jumped on it and I put my $5 down so that I could get one as soon as as soon as they came out. And of course, I was in the second group, not in the first group. But yeah, I mean, they're all pretty much the same. I bought the 256 version, just because, yeah, I didn't want to spend an arm and a leg on it. But it.
I mean, why did you jump right on it? What were the possibilities that you saw for it?
Because it let me play all the games that I already own on Steam in a more portable fashion than a laptop.
Right.
And
Nice.
I don't play a lot of games with controllers, which is what this is. I mean, it has it has 2 thumbsticks here, and it's got a D-pad, and it's got the buttons on it and everything like that, like the video Max is showing from the website. And then it also has, these pads right here are actually mouse pads. They're like track pads for a
okay.
laptop. You have one on both sides, and then you have your standard, the shoulder buttons, the triggers, and then it's got 2 buttons on the back, or 4 buttons on the back, 2 on each side for doing other stuff. So I mean, you can remap this just like any other controller. You can remap them. But it's a portable device. I pull it out, turn it on, and I start playing a game. Now, SWTOR is not one of those pull it out of the case, turn it on, and start playing, because it's a little bit. They have different categories. Oh, and the screen it's a touch screen also. So just like your phone or your tablet or whatever, it's a touch screen. SWTOR is not one of those. They have different categories of games. They have Steam verified, playable, and then unknown. So Steam verified means it'll work with the controllers, and it'll just run pretty much out of the box. But playable, you might have to do some things. Like with SWTOR, I have to hook up a USB-C hub to it. Since they don't have the dock, they're coming out with the dock soon. But you hook this up so that you can hook a keyboard and a mouse up to it, or you can use Bluetooth keyboards and Bluetooth mouse. Like the mouse I use is a Bluetooth mouse. It also has a 2.4 dongle on it, 2.4 gigahertz dongle. But yeah, I mean it's basically a laptop that's lighter, smaller, and but you can do everything that you can do with a laptop with this thing. That
I mean,
was why.
I might be jumping ahead, but does it have Bluetooth?
It does. It does have Bluetooth. It's got dual band Wi-Fi, 2.4 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz. I think it's Wi-Fi 6. But yeah, and it comes in, the 3 different storage sizes: 64, 256, and then 512. I got the 256 because 64 is way too small. And I got 256, and installing SWTOR and Guild Wars 2, because I played Guild Wars 2 on this thing also, because it just came out on Steam, and there's a little bit of a hack that you can do. Not a hack, but you can put some command line arguments or whatever in the Steam to make it use the actual Guild Wars launcher. But so it has its own interface right here. That's what this is, which looks like if you've used the big picture mode in Steam, it's the same thing. And you just use the controllers or the D-pad or however you want. And it's just, it's got volume buttons on the top. It's got a 3.5 inch or 3.5 headphone jack on it. So if you have a regular pair, if you don't want to use Bluetooth headphones, because sometimes you do get the audio lag with that. It's a smaller version of a laptop, and it's a lot more portable. So when you buy the Steam Deck, obviously it comes with a charger. It comes with a 45-watt charger. That, I don't like this because the cable doesn't disconnect. So I'm using just an Anchor 45 watt. I think it actually might be a 60-watt charger, because I think it's one of the gallium nitride ones. And a regular USB-C cable. I mean, it just and it charges it. And it comes with the power supply. So depending on what version you get, I think they all come with a case. So this is a case, and like I was saying before, it's.
Oh, they all come with the case?
It's hard.
Oh, they do. I see.
Yeah. It's hard. It's contoured to the Steam Deck so that you can get it in there. The 512 version comes with an exclusive case. I think the symbol on the front is like two-tone color instead of all white. It's the dot in the middle is blue, I think, and the inside of the case is gray instead of black. I mean, all right, whatever.
So as
and
you
it
can
comes
see
with
here from this page, and this was just today, because of everything I heard and hearing other people talk about it and hearing Corley's experience with it, I finally reserved one. I'm here in the 256 reservation, but I don't know. It's exclusive.
Exclusive, yeah.
And there's
But
premium glass and an
yeah, it also
exclusive case.
it also comes with a sleeve to put your charger in, so that you can stick it in the back of the case. And it comes with a lint-free cloth. So there, if you need another one of those laying around, you can do
lint-free
that.
cloth.
Yeah.
You had me at lint-free cloth. That sold it right there.
But so that but playing, I mean, any of the games on here, you install it just like you do in Steam. You go into your store page, your library, because it has, yeah, your library here. If I can get to it, so it's got a Steam button on here. So if I go into library, it has all your at the top here has the categories. So if you say great on deck, it shows you the games that are
I'll go to your big screen.
will run on this.
Out of
And this
your
thing
library,
will run.
which ones will run? Okay.
Yep, which ones are verified to run out of the box that you don't have to do anything for. And then you can also filter by installed. So I have Horizon Zero Dawn installed on here. It runs, looks great. I mean, it runs. It has an APU, an AMD APU, so it has one of the Radeon, or it's a CPU with the Radeon chips integrated into it, which is exactly it's not the same model, but it's the same basically technology that runs your Xbox and your PS5s. I mean, it's the exact same type of hardware. It's not the same version. Obviously, this is a lower power version so that it doesn't drain the batteries and stuff. But yeah. So, but what it runs SteamOS, which is a customized version of Arch Linux, which I had never heard of before the Steam Deck came out. But it's Linux. So for any game that, and then it in that Linux distro, it runs Proton, which I guess Steam kind of bought into, or I don't think they took it over or not anything, but it's basically a emulator or a front end to run Windows executables on Linux.
Yeah. Okay.
And
like Wine.
it's like Wine. It's seamless. You don't have to do anything for any of the games that I've played. You don't have to do anything.
Oh, that's great.
But yeah. So if a game like SWTOR, which is what we're here talking about, isn't so SWTOR is only set up as playable. That's if you go onto the store page for that game, if I can get there. Yeah, so if you go on the store page for that game, it has this little yellow exclamation point. And when you click on it,
yellow
it says
mark,
it's
not the green mark.
Yeah, it says playable. And if you hit details, it tells you it's like this game's launcher and setup tool may require touchscreen or virtual keyboard or have difficult to read text. Okay, because it's going to be small, right? And it says all functionality is accessible when using the default controller configuration. That is not quite true with this game. If you try to use the controller sticks or even the mouse pads on here, running it from the game launcher. Now this is specific to SWTOR. I haven't tried it with any other kind of game. This thing is so sensitive. I mean, it's already sensitive enough with the regular mouse on a PC. I mean, we've all seen that. Like your mouse will go winging off in the nowhere or whatever, and you'll be looking at the ceiling. That's what this does with the default controls on here.
Okay.
I've been experimenting with it, trying to tweak it. I'm not an expert on this, so just so you know that. Even though you said that in the beginning.
Well, I'm more an expert than anyone else at this point than I've ever heard. I mean,
yeah.
Corley hates calling being an expert.
So I've tried to tweak some settings, messing with the settings file and everything to try to tweak the controller sensitivity down and everything like that to use it this way, but it just it doesn't quite work. But even running in a desktop, you can still try to use these controllers, and it works better than running it in the native launcher that they have here. So just keep that in mind. So to do this, so when you initially turn it on, this is the default interface that you get. But if you hold down the power button, which is on the top here, you get basically this startup menu, and then you can shut down, restart, whatever. Change account. You can have multiple accounts on one Steam Deck,
Oh.
so you can swap between accounts if you have like kids and they have their own accounts. But there's an option here to switch to desktop mode. So then it switches to desktop mode, and basically gives you a Linux desktop.
Huh.
And it uses KDE, I think is what they said it used. So you can, and by using this, so you can use it. You can see the mouse moving. So this is a trackpad. There is a virtual keyboard also, but it's not the easiest to get up on here. So that's why you basically. So I have, like I said, I have a mouse connected, and
Right.
but you use a keyboard, and I have this. I have a little keyboard that I take with me, which is not the lightest keyboard in the world. I've been trying to find a lighter one.
Yeah,
This is completely mechanical, so and it weighs almost as much as a Steam Deck does.
This is my Microsoft Bluetooth keyboard. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's like as thin as a credit card, which makes it actually a little bit hard to type because there's not a lot of travel on the keys. But I really like this keyboard. It's like
Yeah,
super quiet and soft and easy to pack, and Bluetooth, and easy setup.
I have one that's like that, but I haven't actually tried to use it yet, and I might try to. So the way you get, and then if you notice, there's two icons on the desktop here. One of them is actually Steam,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically the version of Steam that you have on your PC.
The
So you
regular
go into
Steam
that.
launcher running in Linux.
And you
Yep.
can buy games through that?
Yeah, you can buy
Perfect.
games. You can buy games in the regular launcher too, in the regular. As long as you got a payment, you're gonna have to
Yeah.
enter payment stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, so you can go in here, and then when you launch, SWTOR, it basically comes up, and once it's done loading, there we go. There's the launcher.
Yep.
So let me close this out. Yeah, what do we got going? Yeah, there we go. I'm trying to do this with. Yeah, so now you have the launcher, and you enter your credentials. So let me do that real quick. So, because now the resolution of the screen, it's only a 7-inch screen, and it runs at 800 by 1280, I think is what it is. I don't remember exactly what that is.
Huh.
But Max could look it up while I'm doing this. 1 second, sorry.
Oh, I guess I could. what the resolution of this?
What the resolution is? Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
it probably says right here. I'm on the page. Let me see.
And I need to
AMD
plug it in.
RAM, storage, processor, controls, display, 1280 by 800.
Yeah. So it's 1280 by. So it's not. You're not going to get 1080p. You're not going to run this on 4K. Even if you hook it to an external monitor, which you can do with the USB-C hub or the dock when they come out with it. I'm still testing that because it's a little bit janky. For me at least, it hasn't been the most pleasant experience trying to hook it up to another monitor.
It says it'll do 4K on an external monitor.
It will, but you're not going to run any game that has a lot of graphics at 4K with the APU that's in this thing. You might be able to run it at 1080p, but you're not going to run anything that's really graphic intensive at 4K.
And then it's a little misleading on their page because they they make it seem like it'll do 120 hertz at
It'll
at
output
4K.
that. It will output that.
But
Like,
if the processor won't do more than 40 frames at 4K, then who
so
cares that it can output?
yeah. Well, AMD does have their FSR technology, which basically you run. It's an upscaling technology.
Yeah.
Which so you can run it at 1080p or at
Right.
not 800 by 600, but you can run it at a lower resolution, and then it will upscale, and that works really well for almost any games that support it. Now, I think SWTOR might support it just because it's like a native thing for the operating system. So one other thing is, since the dock hasn't come out yet, and they're still trying to bring it out, there's a lot of, if you have access to a 3D printer or something like that. This was a 3D printed stand that I
Oh.
printed out,
Cool.
and it basically, surprisingly enough, I didn't realize. So it basically sits in here, and it has 2 notches in here that actually lock into the screw holes on the
Oh,
back of
nice.
the Steam Deck, so it doesn't slide around, and so it lines up with the vents, because this
So it
thing
doesn't
will
lock.
get hot.
Okay.
So there's SWTOR running
Yeah.
on the Steam Deck right here.
Yeah.
This is the launcher screen. Let's see if I can get it. I guess it doesn't. So let me load. So there you go. And it can get loud too. You probably won't hear it, but it does get loud. It has decent speakers. So it's not the quickest loading, but it's probably better than some hard drives.
Yeah.
But again, it is not. It's not. There you go. So they're
There we
in
go.
my stronghold. So, like I said, you can actually use these to move around. So this one will make you run and stuff like that. You can, and then this one actually controls the cursor, which I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, the
No.
cursor's moving around. You can see it.
Oh,
a little
there
bit.
I saw it go by.
Yeah, but you can also, if you hold down one of the triggers, you can
Then you get the
use it to
rotating.
Yeah, so you can use these controls if you really wanted to torture yourself.
And maybe if you got really used to it. But you've been playing it with the keyboard and mouse, right?
Yeah, I played it with a keyboard and mouse that I have plugged in with this USB-C hub. And I could output it to another monitor if I wanted, but I actually played it on this 7-inch screen in the hotel when I was in Michigan. So
yeah, and you were on the road this week and you played it.
Yep.
And what did you do? And that just to give people an example of.
Well, I did heroics. I wanted to try to raid, to test it out with raiding. I was thinking about trying it out tonight when we went into EV, but yeah, I didn't want to waste everybody's time trying to get everything set up. So
yeah, we should try it.
Yeah. But I was doing heroics.
Not for R4, but.
Yeah, no, not for R4. But when I was doing heroics and stuff, I had lag, but it was probably because of the Wi-Fi that I had, not because of the Steam Deck.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I'm running it. It's I can actually, I can't in here, but if you run it in the regular default launcher, you can bring up a FPS monitor on it that tells you how many frames you're getting with it and stuff. So yeah. It is, like I said, it has replaced my laptop for gaming when I'm traveling. And I mean, if I have to go someplace and I know I'm gonna be waiting, like I'm taking the car to the freaking to the dealership, I can sit there and I'm not gonna play Star Wars on it because I'm not gonna drag keyboard and mouse and everything with me. But I can play anything else that plays with a controller, like No Man's Sky.
Yeah. I mean
Plays
that's
plays
one of
like
the
a
things
dream on this thing.
that's one of the things that hooked me. That I mean,
Yep.
my number one favorite, survival building game is No Man's Sky, but for a lot of
Yeah.
reasons, for technical and just
Yeah.
the game company and all of that. But hearing that it's awesome,
Yep.
that was a big selling point for me too.
The
I
biggest
do,
problem well, the
yeah, go ahead.
biggest problem I have with No Man's Sky,
Yeah.
I cannot walk on a planet with a controller. I suck using a controller when it's anything first person perspective. Now I use a controller to fly the ship and do all that stuff all the time.
Yeah,
Um,
I play with mouse and keyboard. In fact,
yeah,
or VR. So I think you could get used to anything if you do it long enough, but it
yeah,
it'd
and
take a long time and
that is
it's a
something
pain
you
in
got
the
to do
ass.
if you want to use it.
I I I tested a new game today, one of the games of PAX that's it's Quest hand tracking, and that was weird. That was
Yeah,
weird to do like movement. You could because you got to like you're waving your hands in the air to like turn and move. You can't even use like thumbsticks to like walk around the world. That was really
wave,
weird.
wave your
Um,
hands in the air like you just don't care.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Uh, but so I mean, this does sound amazing because I do play Star Wars on the road, and I have before. In fact, I found just for fun, I looked this up, and it was not hard to find. This actually came up in Google. I just typed SWTOR on a plane Reddit, and this is my Reddit post from 7 years ago
Yeah,
of uh, one of the times that I did it. This is one of the times I also did it last week when I flew to Seattle, uh, because I was bored and I cannot get through a 4.5 hour plane ride without playing games on the plane. But get the get the network on the plane. So this was 7 years ago. This was working. Get the network on the plane, and I was playing it on my Surface Book at the time. I've got even a slightly better laptop now. It played great. It played just fine. I would really want to have a keyboard and mouse, but I have nice portable ones that I could bring with. Having the Steam Deck to be able to play any kind of games and then add a keyboard and mouse to play things like SWTOR, that sounds really fun to
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
it is nice, and for anybody who's concerned, oh well, do I have to rebuild my UI? Do I have to redo my key bindings? I copied them to a USB stick, and I was able to find out where the settings were because it kind of makes like a virtual app data folder
Oh yeah.
in
Okay.
there for each game or something like that. And I was able to find out where it was. I dropped them in there, boom, they showed up, and I was able to didn't have to recreate anything. So
Well, I'm kind of sold on it as you saw from my reservation now because I'm getting
yeah,
excited. I'm thinking about that exclusive game. Now and every time I say that in my head,
yeah,
then I'm like, no, I'm not getting that.
yeah.
Um,
So there are so this the doc the official doc is not out yet, but there are docs from third party companies that you can get um, that do the same thing. They almost look exactly the same as a Steam
okay.
Deck dock. Um,
I don't really need a
another
dock though. I wouldn't be docking it anywhere. I would be
well,
using it when I want wouldn't
it's
need a
just
dock.
the only thing. Yeah, so that's it. I mean, the only thing that really gives you is it gives you the USB hub and stand
Oh,
integrated into one thing.
which then if you're plugging in a mouse and keyboard,
If you're
that's
plugging in
actually not
to
bad
play
at all.
SWTOR,
That's
that's what you're
perfect.
gonna want.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Yep.
Where do I
And
pre-order this?
well, they haven't. Unfortunately, for some reason,
Disney.
it's delayed. I don't know why, but it
Yeah.
is.
Stuck in
The
supply chain.
so another selling point for it is Steam has partnered with iFixit, who are usually known for showing you how to take apart and repair your cell phones or anything like that. They've partnered with iFixit to sell genuine parts, like official parts, and they have guides on there how to replace the parts. You can replace the screens, audio boards, the case outside of it.
Wow, look at this. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is
they have
crazy.
the only parts. I mean, I even think they have like the actual motherboard parts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
motherboard right here.
yeah. Like it's a replacement, so you
All
can
the
buy
all
the
the
parts.
the chips, all the mini boards inside, the
Yep.
SSD.
Nope. That is the one thing they don't have on there is
It
the
says
SSD.
featured SSD. What is this?
It shows you
Steam
how to
Deck.
probably do it, but they don't sell the parts.
Oh, Steam Deck SSD replacement written guide. It's just a guide
Yeah.
written by blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
those are the guides. But if you go to parts, they don't have that. Because specifically on the Steam Deck page, it says that is not user replaceable.
Ah,
Well, it is. They just want you to buy their, you know, 512 version. They probably also say it's not user replaceable because, a lot of people aren't going to necessarily know how to clone a drive because
yeah,
you're going to have to clone it to
and
get
you
it
could
on
really
there.
jank
Yeah.
yourself up, and it would be a
Yeah.
support nightmare for them with the
Yep.
drive
Yep.
in
But
particular.
it uses Phillips screws, not some pentalobe or some weird, driver that
Yeah.
you need from somebody special. It uses it uses regular screws. Uh, not a lot of glue. I mean, the screen is like the only thing that they were a little bit hesitant on because it was glued in, I think. But I mean, they give it a 7 out of 10 repairability score. So,
To
and they sell
reassemble
the
your
parts.
device, follow these instructions in reverse order.
Yeah, which is always easier said than done.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Because
especially
you
when you're
always have
like
that.
peeling off the SSD shielding.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
But they.
just peel it back on.
Yeah.
just put the peel back on the banana.
But that was another thing that really sold me on it because a laptop you can do stuff you can do pretty much what you want with a laptop, right? And having that same ability to do what I wanted on a Steam Deck was really important. Being able to replace parts or
Yeah.
you replace the battery. They also have repair centers that you can, if you don't want to fix it yourself, if following the steps in reverse is a little bit more than you want to deal with, they have repair centers that you can actually send it off for warranty work out. So, and that they just announced that this week, I think.
So
Yeah.
so this sounds like a great tool for people that do want ability. Well, really, and I've heard great things about playing any kind of game. So it does
If
seem like an
you
exciting addition to a gamer's lifestyle.
Yep.
To be sure.
If you play games on Steam, if you play a lot of games on Steam, for me, that's the only place I have games. I don't have a console. I don't have an Xbox. I don't have a PlayStation. I don't have a Switch. Now, people who own Switches, this might not be for you because it is. I mean, the middle version of this is $550, I think.
Right.
Yeah, $530. Whereas a Switch is only $300.
Yeah.
But
And
I bet you
Breath of the
there's a lot
Wild
more
Part 2 just
games.
got announced. There's exclusives
Yeah.
on the Switch. So I mean, if you're really into that, then yeah, that's really
Yeah.
nice.
But I
Or
mean,
you gotta
you're
get
gonna buy
both.
that anyways. If that's the game you want to play, you're gonna buy one of them anyways. You're
Yeah.
gonna buy a Switch for that. There are 5,000 games that are verified or playable on the Steam Deck.
That's
from what
crazy.
I read a little while ago. There's like 500 that are, that are playable, that
There's
are
the
not
green
playable,
check
but
mark.
that are verified. Yeah, that
Yeah.
have the green check mark. Elden Ring. You can play that on here. I mean, everybody's all about Elden Ring. I that's not
If
the
you,
kind of game for me.
yeah.
But hey, if that's you can play it on here. Vampire Survivors. If you've never seen that game, it's like $2. It's fun.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Basically, all you do is run around. Yeah, like I said, I played Guild Wars 2 on this thing.
Guild Wars 2,
No.
SWTOR, No Man's Sky. These are all
Yeah.
games I play.
Yep.
No Man's Sky.
Yep. Yeah, but yeah, it costs as much as a low end laptop, but you probably get better performance out of this.
And it's specific. If this is what you're buying a laptop
portable.
for, it costs much less than you would pay for a laptop and the accessories to do what this does. Is what I would think. And plus, the user experience is going to be lots better because you just turn it on, it's on, and it does what you want it to do.
And a while ago there were rumors that they were trying to retool SWTOR to play on a console. Well, if they ever do that,
then
you got your console right here. You can still run it.
Then you'd certainly be Then it would be tuned for the controller.
Yep.
And then we'd be more
and it would work hopefully a lot better. Yeah.
So what do you think, Seema? You gonna get one?
You guys are really making me want one.
Are you? Are you wanting one?
I for my application would be for when I play games in bed.
Yeah, just like sitting around the house, sitting on the front porch with a cup of coffee in the morning, doing some coffee and contemplation time.
What I use for that now is my Kindle. I have a tablet style Kindle, and it's mediocre at best at games.
Yeah, and you're playing Android games, so I mean.
Right. Android games, not PC games, exactly.
This will play, a lot of PC games. I mean, you could also, if you wanted to do like family game night, I've installed the Jackbox games on here.
Oh.
I hook it to my TV in my living room. It runs the game, and and everybody uses their phone to play those games. So yeah.
And you could do it on the road. You could do it on a camping trip. Oh,
yeah, you could.
How fun! All right. Well, I think this is, any like wrap up comments, because I think this is a really good answer and a really good rundown for anybody that really wanted to know how this works.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna play games that are really graphically intense, obviously you're gonna need to plug it in. Don't expect the battery to last too long, but I think for me it was a good replacement for a laptop. And
I did mean to ask that though. How long does the battery last? Like if you're playing SWTOR, how long do you think the battery would last?
I have not tested that because I know it ain't gonna last very long. So, they say 2 to 4 hours or 2 to 8 hours depending on what you're playing. You could probably turn the graphics all the way down and it might last a couple hours. But
that's even better than my Surface laptop because it's got a big heavy chip in it, and I'll only get like 90 minutes if I'm running, at like higher graphic settings.
If anybody has bought a laptop to play games, the battery doesn't last, so you're automatically gonna plug it in.
Yeah.
But the thing with the Steam Deck is if you had a battery pack that output at least 45 watts, you can extend your playtime there.
USB-C,
if you don't have a
plug it in.
That's the point. Yeah.
Just
and you could do that also, obviously, with any laptop that has Thunderbolts.
I think they really like you bringing extra lithium on the plane. So yeah.
Well, I do. So.
Well, as long as you bring it on a carry-on, they actually do not want you to check it in bags, which makes sense.
For me, it has. It does only have like I said, the battery is only a 40-watt battery, is what they said, 40-watt hours, I think. So it's not huge, but if you're playing games on it, you're gonna plug it in.
Yeah.
If you're gonna play anything big on it.
Yep.
But yeah, it is a laptop replacement for me. I actually gave my wife my laptop so that she could do stuff, play games.
That's super cool. And it answers the question. Like and a lot of people have been out there asking. So we'll try to post this in a couple places so people actually have a rundown, a detailed view into what it's like.
Yeah, and I'll see what I can do about maybe making some kind of guide or something that we can.
And Corley's in our Discord, newoverlords.com/Discord. Jump in there and ask Corley questions. I just committed you to support and guides.
There's no tech support, but I will. I'll
send your Steam Deck to Corley and he will fix it for you for free.
Guaranteed. And he'll pay shipping.
Yeah, you might get it back sometime this decade.
All right. I think with that, we can wrap up this episode.
Thank you so much, Corley. You had so much good information. That was really...
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for the invite.
Really cool topic to talk about.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks.
Episode 439. 439, Seema. You know what episode 440 is? Just another episode.
Yep. Just another episode.
So thanks everyone for listening and watching. If you're watching on YouTube or any of the Stitcher or we've got it on Spotify, Stitcher, and iTunes now. All the feed and subscribe links are on newoverlords.com, and you can certainly get to us on YouTube/New Overlords. You can also come chat with us, as we've been saying, in our Discord, which is at newoverlords.com/Discord. Follow on Twitter at Max the Gray, me, or at the and at the New Overlords, and we'll keep you up to date that way too. For the Alea Yacht as Guild, which Corley is a leader on as well, and our ops team leader. You can find us on Starforge and in all the games that we play. You can check us out at aie-guild.org and the Discord link for our guild Discord, which has like 80 channels in it. The guild Discord link is in the upper right of aie-guild.org. Jump in there. We'd be happy to get you an invite to our guild, the AIE and SWTOR on the Imperial and the Republic side on Starforge. And with that, we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.